Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna
कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to assembled devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is Bhagavati Vasudha Devidasi from Mangalore, India. Please forgive me for stopping all of you from ecstatic chanting. I would like to read the 10 offenses for holy name given by Vyasadeva and Padma Purana. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the orders of the spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures and pursuance to the Vedic version. 5. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. 6. To give some interpretations to the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities karma kanda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10. To not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. This also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success, Krishna Prema. So once again, I thank everyone for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. And please forgive me for stopping all of you from ecstatic chanting. Now let us go on to the next part of the session, that is Srimad Bhagavatam class. May I know who all are joining the call today?
Hare Krishna Vinita Hare Krishna भगवती वसुधा माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम शिला प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु महाराज की जय प्रीतिदासी फ्रॉम शार्लोट हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna Preeti Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, you can go ahead with your introduction.
Hare Krishna, Bhagavad Sudha Mataji, Guru Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaji. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from Raleigh. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karuna Devidasi from
Hare Krishna Indulekha Karuna Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj and Gauranga. My humble obeisance to all the devotees on the call. This is Harita from Missouri City, Texas. Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Harita Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Sundarangi Radha Devi Dasi from India. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sundarangi Radha Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna. Okay, I welcome all of you once again for joining today's Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are really fortunate to have His Grace Bhakta Mukesh Prabhuji to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, starting from verse 8.12.22. Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for giving your valuable time and association.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, everyone, for joining the class and giving your valuable time. It's really, for me, I was really shocked to see that all the devotees get up so early and beautiful congregation. And when I was going through Bhakti Sangha Japa at YouTube, I found so many different topics, basically like Bhagavad Gita also, Chaitanya Charitamrita also, Srimad Bhagavatam, and then we had a guided tour online of Vrindavan Dham Parikrama and all. So I was really very, very happy to see that devotees from North Carolina, Charlotte, they are so sincere. And thank you very much for giving me an opportunity. And if you permit, then can we begin?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much. All by all, you devotees like you, it's all. Namaguru Mataji is helping.
Please accept my humble obeisances to all devotees. So we will start with today's text number Canto 8, chapter 12, and text number 22. Tamavikshya deva iti kanduklil yeshada vreda sfuta smita visrasta kataksha mustaha स्त्री प्रेक्षण प्रति समीक्षण विवलात्मानात्मनिक उमा स्वगणांश्च वेद. Here we will go to the translation directly. So while Lord Shiva observed the beautiful woman playing with the ball, she sometimes glanced at him and slightly smiled in bashfulness. As he looked at the beautiful woman and she watched him, he forgot both himself and Uma, his most beautiful wife, as well as his associates nearby. The purport by the great Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Now we will go purport. Let us see what exactly Srila Prabhupada is trying to tell us in this particular text. So the material bondage of this world is that a beautiful woman can captivate a handsome man, and that a handsome man can captivate a beautiful woman. Such are the affairs that began when Lord Shiva observed the beautiful girl playing with the ball. In such activities, the influence of Cupid, that is Kamdev, is very prominent. As both parties move their eyebrows and glance at one another, their lusty desires increase more and more. Such reciprocations of lusty desire took place between Lord Shiva and the beautiful woman, even though Uma and Lord Shiva's associates were by Lord Shiva's side. Such is the attraction between man and woman in the material world. Lord Shiva was supposed to be above all this attraction, but he was victimized by the captivating power of Lord Vishnu. So Rishabdeva explains to his son about the nature of lusty attraction. Pumsa istiya mithuni bhavam hitam tayur mithurdaya granthim ahuha ato graha kshetra sutapta vitair janasya mohoyam aham mameti. So that last two words, aham mameti, is very important here. What Rishabdev says, the attraction of between male and female is the basic principle of material existence. On the basis of this misconception, which ties together the hearts of the male and female, one becomes attracted to his body, home, property, children, relatives, and wealth. In this way, one increases life's illusions and thinks in terms of I and mine. That is aham mamiti, I and mine. That is Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 5, text number 8. So when a man and woman exchange feeling of lust, both of them are victimized. And thus, they are bound to this material world in various ways. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sopadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamlam Shri Guru Na Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagar Jatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam सावधयतम सावधूतम परिजन सहितम कृष्ण चैतन्य देवम श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ओम विष्णु पादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते अत्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा। In this particular sloka or text, we will see that after the churning of milk ocean, Lord Shiva wanted to see the form of Lord Vishnu. So he just came to know that Lord Vishnu has assumed the form of Mohini Murti. That he came to know from demigods, because Lord Shiva was not present there when Lord Vishnu assumed the form of Mohini Murti. Lord Shiva was not there. So he came to know from the demigods that Lord Vishnu has taken the form of Mohini Murti. So he was very much excited to see the Mohini Murti form of Lord Vishnu. And he came to know that Mohini Murti is very, very beautiful lady. So Lord Shiva was there in the beginning of the churning of the ocean milk. But later on, he was not there. So he was initially there when he drank poison, right? That time Lord Shiva was there. And after that, Lord Shiva was not there. So when he came to know about Lord's avatar, or, form of Mohini Murti, he was very much excited to see how the Lord looks like. in the female form. So he wanted to see that form, and Srila Prabhupada says here that Lord Shiva is the greatest amongst all demigods. Devo ka Dev, Devo ke Dev, Mahadev. That is what we call here. So he is the greatest among all the demigods, and he is supposed to be above all these attractions. So he is not supposed to get attracted by a female form. But in order to teach us, in order to teach the material world, and especially to devotees, he is setting an example. So we know that Lord Shiva destroyed Kamdev, that is stupid, the god of lust. So there is no sense that Lord Shiva gets attracted by Mohini. So it's very common sense, when Lord Shiva has already destroyed Kamdev, so naturally it is understood that he will not get attracted by Mohini Murti or anyone like that. There is a story that when a damsel, that is Apsara, from heaven, when she tried to please the Lord, then he cursed her. Lord Shiva cursed that damsel from celestial world. And also when Ganga Mata, that is Ganga river, that is Ganga Mata we call, she tried to marry Lord Shiva. But Lord Shiva said that I am already married, and I am already married to Uma Devi, who is my wife, and returned her. Returned whom? Ganga Devi, Ganga Mata. And so there are many incidents here where Lord Shiva refuses to get associated with any other woman except with his wife. But in order to teach us how Maya is so strong, that Lord Shiva, who is beyond everything, is now acting like this. Okay, so this particular text is for us to understand that we should not challenge the energy of Lord, whether it is internal or external. Internal energy, anyway, we cannot challenge, but we should not challenge the external energy also. So we have many examples here, like Brahma, he was running after his daughter. That is what we have seen. That's what is not worshipped anywhere except one place in the whole world. Lord Brahma is not worshipped. Then there is another example of one more person. His name is Kala Krishna Das. Kala Krishna Das was a personal associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left for the South Yatra, he was the only one who was taking care as a personal servant of the Lord. So he was washing his clothes, cleaning his little pot, and doing all the seva, whatever was possible. But what happened on the way going to South Yatra, he saw some woman and then he got attracted. And then he left Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he joined the association of those beautiful women, some women. So later on, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went there and he got him back. That is another thing. So Lord has to go and rescue Kala Krishna Das. Now, it is extremely difficult to understand Krishna's Maya, and therefore we should always remember this line from Bhagavad Gita, Mama Maya Duratya. Lord Krishna says that my divine energy, Maya, is very difficult to work. It's very difficult to work. Now, in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text number 14, Krishna says, Daivi Haisha Guna Mama Maya Duratya Mameva Ye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. So Lord Krishna says, my divine energy, Maya, is very difficult to overcome, but those surrender unto me, those who surrender to me, cross over it easily. So there are two aspects. Now, one aspect is it's very difficult to cross the Maya of Krishna, and second is it is not impossible, it is quite easy also, that if we surrender to Lord Krishna, then we can overcome the illusionary energy of Maya. So one senior devotee have said that we should always remember this verse if you always want to advance in spiritual life. That we remember these lines in such a way that the first line we should give 50% weightage, and the second line we should give another 50% weightage. So that will help us to advance in our spiritual life. So the first line is, don't take for granted that you are very advanced in spiritual life. You may fall down anytime. So that is the first line. So that first 50% is always be very, 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 very careful that we should not get trapped in the material form of Lord Krishna. And second, even though if by mistake someone falls down in the or gets trapped in the energy of Maya, then if we surrender to Krishna, then he can overcome this easily. So first part is also we can fall down. Second part is that we can only if we surrender to Krishna, we can get out of it. So Prabhupada quoted from Rishabdev's instruction in this particular text to his sons. Unsam striya mithuni bhavameta tayor mitha hridaya granthi mahu ato graha kshetra supapta vitte jarnasya mohoya maham mameti. The basic attachment of all material entanglement starts from the attraction between male and female. This whole material world is existing because of the attraction between male and female. And when that attraction increases, their heart tightly bonds with each other, then that person, he wants wealth, house, children, relatives, and people forget the goal of their life and just focus in I and mine. So, like here, we have seen that moho mayam mameti, me and my. That's why everything starts here with I and my. So we see the example of iPhone, that is I, this iPad, that is also I. So many I. So like people, they are very much only engrossed with their own sense gratification. And we, as the Kali is going in deep and deep, we have seen that this I and my is increasing day by day. It's like when we were in our childhood from like around 30, 40 years back, that concept was not much there about I and mine. We were in a joint family and we were taking care of everyone. So whatever things we used to get in joint family, that we used to share with everyone. But then we got all separated nuclear families, and then everybody started focusing on I and my. So here, to confirm this sentence, when Chatush Kumar, four Kumars, they were talking with Jay and Vijay, who were the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha, they heard for the first time I and mine. So they never heard about I and mine. That was the first time they heard, as they were so innocent. The Chatush Kumars were very innocent. Hence, we are not qualified to go to spiritual world, but remain in this material world, because there would be this concept of I and mine. So Lord Shiva was thinking that I have my most beautiful wife, that is Uma Devi, with me, and I'm also surrounded by my personal associates, Parshad, with me. So naturally, I will not be bewildered by Mohini Murti Roop. That was his thought, because he has defeated Kamdev. So he was thinking in his mind that I cannot fall down or I cannot get bewildered by any lady, however beautiful she may be. So he was having that in his mind. But that was not true. So it is not like that if you are with a beautiful lady, you will not get attracted by another beautiful lady. It is not nothing like that. Even if we are married to a very beautiful lady, or a lady is married to a very handsome person, it is not guaranteed that he or she will not fall with some another person. Now, Srila Prabhupada says, it's not that if one gets married, his attraction to opposite sex will finish. So, very openly, very boldly, Srila Prabhupada has taught us that when we are in this material world, we got to be very, very careful about it. But Lord Shiva left his wife and started moving after Mohini Murti. Now, this is the contrast here, that when he was thinking that he can defeat any beautiful lady, when the moment he saw Mohini Murti Roop, he was so much attracted toward her that he started moving after Mohini Murti. Now, in previous verses, Lord Shiva offered so many prayers. Now, this is our text number 22, but before that, 10, 15 shlokas, if you have heard that Lord Shiva has offered very beautiful prayers to Lord Vishnu, and he knew very well that what is his position, whose Lord Shiva's position, and also Lord Vishnu's position. He very well knew that he is the supreme personality of Godhead, and by seeing the female form of Lord Vishnu, he got bewildered. So he was not seeing Mohini Murti by spiritual vision. That was, it was not spiritual. Okay. So he got bewildered and attracted because of that. Now there is one devotee in Chaitanya Charitamrita. His name was Ramananda Rai, who was a personal associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We all know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Krishna. So Ramananda Rai was his personal associate, and many devotees used to come to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he was in Jagannath Puri. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not have that much time to meet each and every person. So he appointed his two personal associates. One of them was Ramanand Rai and another was Swarup Damodar Das. So he said that if anybody comes, people used to come with lot of offerings, with lots of poems, so many things that was material, spiritual, poetic things about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he did not get much time to meet and greet everyone. So he asked that you meet either Ramanand Rai or Swarup Damodar Das before meeting one, and they will recommend whom they can meet. So like one devotee from Bengal, West Bengal, he came to Jagannath Puri to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and when he came, he was asked to meet Ramanand Rai, and he went to Ramanand Rai's house, and he asked that what Ramanand Rai is doing, and then Ramanand Rai was busy, so he was asked to wait outside. Now 1 hour passed, 2 hours passed, 3 hours passed, but still he found that Ramanand Rai couldn't come out. So he inquired with the person there that what happened, where is he busy? So he said that Ramanand Rai is decorating some girls, and that is for the worship of Lord Jagannath. They are going to dance there for Lord Jagannath. And this person was very much shocked. He said, how come, an exalted person like Ramananda Rai can decorate beautiful young girls and all that? So he just left, and then he approached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could read his mind. And the first question he asked, that did you meet Ramananda Rai? And this person said, yes, I met. So he said, what happened? Did you meet him? He said, no, I went there. I was waiting outside and waiting, and I waited for many hours. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, so what happened? Why couldn't you meet him? What was he doing? So he said, I was told that he was decorating some beautiful girls. So he said, oh, really? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said Look, that is the position of Ramananda Rai. That is what he said. He said that I myself being a sannyasi, whenever I see a woman made up of wood, also I get bewildered. But Ramananda Rai is such a exalted devotee that he does not get bewildered, even with such beautiful girls. That kind of consciousness, that high consciousness he is having. So one should see everyone and everything as an object for Krishna's pleasure. That is the beauty of devotees of Krishna. They see everything as an object for Krishna's pleasure, not for their own pleasure. So when Ramananda Rai was decorating, he was looking those girls as an object for Lord Jagannath's pleasure, not for his own purpose. Now here, there is one very good point in this churning of milk ocean. Now here we see that when churning of that ocean of milk was taking place, demons and demigods were churning it, and they were taking Mandar mountain. The name of the mountain is Mandar. That Mandar mountain they took, and Lord Vishnu assumed the form of tortoise. So that is called Kurmadev. He took that form, and that Mandar mountain was placed on the back of Kurmadev, that is tortoise, and they were churning it with the help of a big snake, Vasuki. So what happened? That when the churning was taking place, that Lord, in the form of Kurmadev, he was very much enjoying, because he found his back was having some kind of itching, and he enjoyed that itching. So he was taking pleasure in that itching. But you see how our devotees turn this case. Now you see Lord Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj, what he says about this itching, it was a wonderful comparison. Prahlad Maharaj says in Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 7, Canto 7, chapter 9, and text number 45, that sex life is temporary, and it is a temporary relief of an itching. He has compared that itching with the material world, and he said with an analogy that sex life is nothing but a temporary relief of an itching, which is a temporary relief but does not provide lasting satisfaction. It is not permanent, it is a temporary satisfaction. The itch will return, and the act itself is a source of distress. So it's very pathetic that once somebody goes for that lusty desire, that kind of satisfaction is very temporary. That sense gratification is very temporary. So Prahlad Maharaj argues that materialists often mistake this temporary relief in true happiness. So now we've seen that people find this intercourse pleasure is the highest pleasure in the material world. Prahlad Maharaj says that is not the highest pleasure. That is the point of distress. It is not the pleasure. They spend their lives thinking that it is the ultimate source of pleasure. Now he suggests that one should become what is the solution? How can we get away with this? So all the acharyas, including Srila Prabhupada, says to get away from this, the only solution is only one, that we become a sincere devotee of Krishna to find a higher form of pleasure which is not temporary and will give a permanent spiritual satisfaction. So now those who look after only their family, their wives, children, house, property, money, they are called as Grahamedis. They are not Grastas. They are called as Grahamedis. There is another story of Chota Haridas, who was a brahmachari, and he used to live with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what happened when once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him to go for alms, to beg for some bhiksha, that to go in the town and get some rice and all. So he went to the town, and one lady who was kind of old only, her name was Madhavi Devi, and he went there and he looked at her with some lusty eyes. And that thing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to know. And when he came back, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very, very angry with him. And he asked him to leave that ashram. So Chota Haridas, that is Junior Haridas, was very, very upset. He started crying and he waited outside the house, that ashram of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for many days. But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not accept him. So what happened? That after long time, then he went to Prayag, and at the confluence of that Triveni Sangam, he jumped himself and he died. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to know that, then he did not have any sympathy. His point was, the person who has taken a vow of celibacy, he should not be indulged in any way in this material attraction, especially for the woman. So that was the thing here. And then after his departure, devotees, they heard his Chota Haridas singing voice when they are going at Mahaprabhu's Kirtan at Jagannath Puri. Some of the devotees heard the voice of Chota Haridas when they were doing the Kirtan at Jagannath Puri. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu confirmed that Haridas has been liberated and he attained the eternal form fit for serving Krishna. So now, even if we fall down being a brahmachari or being a devotee of Krishna, then also Krishna is so merciful that he extends his mercy depending upon our consciousness. So by a small mistake, he set an example that if you are a brahmachari, you should take, if you have taken a vow, then you should not indulge in sense gratification. That was the message he wanted to give to the world. Now, moral lessons here and lessons what we have learned here. That even a small lapse in spiritual discipline can hinder one's progress if one has taken vows of renunciation. Like Chota Haridas, he taken the vow of renunciation, but small mistake, then he fell down. Second point, what we have learned is the Lord is both infinitely compassionate and infinitely strict. He is both the things he is doing simultaneously. He is very strict also, but is very compassionate also. Strict in the sense, he asked Haridas to leave, and compassionate is eventually that he got liberated. Haridas started, Chota Haridas. Second, when Chota Haridas ultimately achieved perfection, showing that sincere repentance and devotion always leads to liberation. So what we do is that if we beg after our mistake to Krishna, then Krishna may or he will forgive you. Now here some of the beautiful stories, what which occurred to me was very, very interesting. Some 2 or 3 stories I would like to narrate here. Now the topic is to hell with the lust. That is the topic, to hell with the lust. And in Bhagavad Gita 16.21, Krishna says that there are 3 gates leading to this hell. Which are the 3 gates? The number 1 is lust, second is anger, and third is greed. These are the 3 gates which will lead us to hell. So every sane man should give this up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. So we can now see these stories which are very eye-opening for us. So the first story we will see that there is a king, there was a king, Bhartrhari, and his wife. So there was a king, his name was Bhartrhari, and he had a very beautiful wife. He was so enamored and infatuated by his wife that he wrote some verses, like 100 verses he wrote on the beauty of his wife. like Vyasdev wrote Srimad Bhagavatam for Lord Krishna, 18,000 verses. This gentleman wrote 100 verses, praising the beauty of his wife, and he put the name as Shrangar Shatak. That means beauty of his wife in 100 of verses. That is Shrangar Shatak. He put that name. So this is a very interesting story. So what happened? One day a sadhu came and he gave that king a very precious jewel. And he asked him, king, give this jewel to whom you love the most. So naturally, without the doubt, king got that jewel and he gave that jewel to his wife, and to whom he loved the most. And so what happened? To his surprise, after couple of weeks, one beautiful lady came and she gave that jewel to the king. And when the king looked at the jewel, it was the same jewel which he gave to his wife. So he was very much shocked. So he wanted to inquire. He was very upset that what happened. I gave to my wife and to whom I loved most, and how come it came back to me through some other lady? So what happened when he gave this jewel to his wife? His wife was loving some another person. So his wife gave that jewel to some other person whom she loved the most. And that person gave this jewel to some other lady whom he loved the most. And that third lady gave it back to the fourth person who was the king, to whom she loved the most. So this was a quadrangle that we call. So like we have seen the movies triangle, love triangle, but this was something with the four persons involved in it. So what happened? That King Bharthari was so frustrated with this entire expression of lust and that love quadrangle that now previously what he written was 100 verses on the beauty of his wife. That was Shangar Shatak. Now he was so much frustrated that he wrote 100 verses about lust, and that was he put it as Vairagya Shatak. So that was Shangar Shatak, and this was Vairagya Shatak. That is 100 verses on renunciation. So in which he explained that lustful experience is as hellish. He wrote, he concluded, to hell with my wife who betrayed me, to hell with the man she loved, to hell with the lust, to hell with Kamdev, who made a fool of us all, to hell with this whole episode, and to hell with me also, who was so attracted to my wife. So this story teaches us that whomever we love cannot be taken for granted, because the true love is for the serving of Krishna, and that is going to be our permanent relationship. There is another story of second, that is from Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 11, canto 11, chapter 26, regarding Pururva and Urvashi. This is a very beautiful story. Now here, very super romantic love story is there. And here, Pururva was a king, and Urvashi, as we all know, she was very beautiful celestial damsel, that is Apsara from heaven. And the king got married to Urvashi. That was his long cherished dream of that king. That dream got fulfilled, and he was so happy. And he was thinking always that, I am so lucky to have such a beautiful damsel or Apsara that even demigods cannot get her. So he was very much having the attraction for Urvashi. But soon this dream crashed, as Urvashi left the king for good, permanently she left the king for one reason, which was that she had some conditions, and one of the conditions was not fulfilled. And because of that, she left the king and she went back to her own planet. And so now we have seen that there are two kinds of relationship. One relation is conditional relationship, and another is unconditional relationship. So the conditional relationship cannot be a continual relationship. That is very temporary. But if it is an unconditional relationship, that is permanent. So what happened? After she left the king, Pururva, this king was shattered into pieces. Her heart was broken and she was having sleepless days and sleepless nights. He was always thinking about Urvashi 24 hours. And he just could not function, could not run his kingdom normally. So he was so attached to her that he couldn't live without her. So he, in order to get back, he did lots of austerities, finances, and lots of sacrifice to please the demigods so that he can get Urvashi back. He wanted to please the demigods to get Urvashi. So what happened finally, after many, many years of struggle, one day suddenly he saw Urvashi who was doing sports. She was sporting with demigods. She was playing with demigods. And the king was so nervous to see her. He was very happy but very nervous also that he fell at her feet. He fell at the feet of Urvashi. He begged her and pleaded her, and with folded hands, he asked her to come back to his kingdom and satisfy his lusty desires. That was the thing. Now see, here Prabhupada says how the lusty desires can reduce an emperor into a mere beggar. So that emperor become a beggar because of his lusty desire. So she agreed, but to spend, she put a condition that, okay, now if you are insisting so much, I can do only one thing. I will come only for one night in a year. And that's it. Now this king Pururva thought, what is the choice I have? I have no choice. So he thought something is better than nothing. And so he has no choice, so he has to agree and he accepted. And so what happened? Then he waited for 364 nights. Yeah? And for only one night, that Urvashi came, and when she came, that one night passed in just few seconds. It was like, one night just came and went away. But that 364 days waiting for Pururva was like a millennium. For like how many decades he was waiting. That kind of feeling he had. So time passed by, years and years after this enjoyment. The king realized that actually he was not enjoying, he was actually suffering. So he said, he was thinking, for a few cents of enjoyment, he was paying the price of millions of dollars for suffering, right? That enjoyment was like few cents, but suffering was like millions of dollars if you compare. So he realized that it was not worth it. His mind transformed and he let Urvashi go. And his insane attachment to Urvashi went away and he felt liberated. Now he explains the futility of lust in the following words. In that Srimad Bhagavatam, he explains how useless is that lust. So he says, "To hell with me. I am such a fool that I didn't know what was good for me. Although I arrogantly thought I was highly intelligent, although I achieved the exalted position of Lord, that I became a king, but I allowed myself to be conquered by woman, as if I were a bullock or a jackass, like a donkey. So that is how he was cursing himself, that being an emperor, being a king, being so knowledgeable, everything he got, but he still got into material attachment, sense gratification to that extent that he he did not know all this, and then he was cursing himself. That is the second story here. Now another one we see here from Srimad Bhagavatam is Yayati and Devyani story. Now most of us may be knowing that Yayati was a great king and Devyani was the daughter of Shukracharya, right? Shukracharya, who was the guru of demons. So once Devyani was sporting with some of her friends, girlfriends, with Sharmishta. Sharmishta was the daughter of that king. His name was Vrishparva. She was the daughter of the king. So what happened? Suddenly they all saw that Lord Shiva was seated on his bull, that is Nandi, and with his wife Uma. So all the girls, they dressed themselves. But that Sharmishta, who was the daughter of the king, mistakenly put clothes of Devyani, who was the daughter of Shukracharya. So by mistake it happened that in order to respect Lord Shiva and Uma Devi, they dressed. And by mistake, she took the dress of Devyani. So Devyani got very upset and she rebuked Sharmishta. She yelled at her that, how come you wear my dress? And similarly, Sharmishta also rebuked Devyani. That is a big argument in so many texts are there. So that is not our point, that what words they use. Now only we focus on what we got to learn. So they rebuked each other, and then what happened? Devyani threw that no, Sharmishta threw Devyani into a well. She was very angry with Devyani, and she had a pride that I am the daughter of the king. You are living on our bread, and you are shouting like that. And she just threw that Devyani into one well. So what happened? Just by chance, the king Yayati was going for hunting, and he felt very thirsty. So he found that well, and when he came to drink water to quench his thirst, he saw that one girl, inside the well, and he just saw that, and she was shouting, and she requested that person to take her out. Now, since he took her hand, so in those days, if a man touches a woman, then they are supposed to get married. That was the time. So when he took Devyani's hand out of the well, then she asked her, the king, that I want to marry you. And she was so beautiful that king also got attracted, and he said, okay, fine. And they got married. And here, what happened? So Devyani accepted Yati, and later on, what happened? This kind of thing, this Devyani told her father Shukracharya about Sharmishta, that she threw me into the well. And when Shukracharya heard this, he was very upset. He was very angry. And he called that king, who was the father of Sharmishta. And he called that king Vrishparva, and he said that, this is nonsense what has happened. So he was very angry at him. And then, in order to satisfy his anger, that king said, okay, I will do the repentance. In order to that, I will give my daughter as a maid servant for Devyani. Okay. So he gave his daughter Sharmishta as a maid servant to Devyani. So eventually what happened? That Sharmishta also came to the house of Yayati. Now after some time, Sharmishta saw that she is having a baby, that Devyani. And by looking at this, then Sharmishta also had a desire that she also wants a baby. So he requested King Yayati that I want a baby also from you. And that King Yayati accepted her offer, and eventually Sharmishta also got a baby from Yayati. Now when Devyani came to know about this, she became angry, and she again went back to her father Shukracharya, and she complained that, this Sharmishta took advantage of this family, and she also got a baby from my husband, which is totally wrong. And so what happened? That Shukracharya again became very angry, and he cursed Maharaj Yayati that you become old. He cursed Yayati and said that now Yayati, you will become old now, and you won't be able to enjoy your sense gratification. Now when Yayati begged to Shukracharya about this, and he said, please be merciful to me, and then he gave a benediction to him, saying that Yayati, you can exchange this old age to some youth man. You can exchange with a young person if he agrees. And Yayati exchanged this thing with his youngest son, whose name was Puru. So he exchanged his old age with the youthness of his youngest son Puru, and he was able to enjoy with Devyani again. Now Srila Prabhupada says in his purport, let's see how lust makes one so shameless that one is ready to exchange one's old age with one's own son. This is height of lust. This is so shameless. Huh? And he was able to enjoy more and more. So this kind of lusty desire Yayati had. So our whole point was here that people go to any grade, they become degrade to satisfy their thirst for lust. So after many, many thousands of years of that relationship and enjoyment in the material world, King Ayati finally become disgusted with such materialistic happiness, and he states his realization as follows. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, he says, "O my dear wife with beautiful eyebrows, I am exactly like a foolish he-goat, so poor in intelligence that being captivated by your beauty, I have forgotten the real task of self-realization." So what happened? Yayati became very much upset, and he was very much disgusted with that thought that I wasted my life thousands and thousands of years, and still I was only attached with the material attachment and sense gratification, and I did not go into my self-realization. Now, this is the story of the all kings. It is the story about Lord Shiva and on exalted personalities. Now, being a small devotees here, what is for us? We are not at all advanced. That is, I am not advanced. So this is for me actually what I am saying is now how to overcome all these desires. Now here there is a one beautiful quote. It says that as Garuda is the enemy of snakes, right? Garuda is the enemy of snakes, as impersonalism is the enemy of devotion, right? That is Nirakarvad, is the enemy of devotion. And so lust is the enemy of conditioned soul. So that is Baddha Jeev. We are conditioned soul. So that lust is our enemy, if we have. So it is the first of three gateways to hell in Bhagavad Gita. Lust is so powerful that it may seem impossible to overcome. So what can we do in order to, when we get that agitation and lusty desires? So it says that it is a process of devotional service. So like we should put ourselves in serving Lord Krishna. But what kind of treatment is that? This is a Ayurvedic treatment. Ayurvedic treatment takes a very long time, but it cures from the roots, right? So this kind of treatment, that means when we go to the devotional service of Lord Krishna, we may get long time to remove that kind of lusty desires from our mind, but that result is guaranteed, like we see in Ayurvedic treatment. So the cure for the disease may not be immediate, but it will be complete. We have to go in Krishna consciousness, praying to Lord Krishna for help in controlling the rascal mind. Our mind is how? It is a rascal. So now let us see what are the different ways to get to Krishna consciousness or go back to Godhead, which is described in Bhagavad Gita. So we have seen that there are 4 types of people who can get back to Godhead. So the first are karmis or materialistic persons. What they do, they 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 make the family, they go for a job or a business, they earn the money and they run the family, and they do little bit of austerity and they live this way. And their main intention is to enjoy this material world. So for them, they can easily be trapped by wealth, wine, and woman, right? So it is not the safest way. Unless and until we offer the fruits of our karmas, till that time, there is no way that we can get detached from the material world. Now, second are the jnanis. Now, we have seen that even if they are pandits and not a devotee of Krishna, they can easily fall down. Now, one of the most prominent example is Ravana. Ravana was such a jnani. He was a pandit, right? He had everything. He was brother of Kuber, and he had Lanka made up of gold. So what opulence one can think of? Today we have seen the price of gold, where it is going, and that whole Lanka was made up of gold. Now that person had everything, but because he was having only one problem, that he had lusty desires, and that lusty desires led to his fall, and eventually he had to die, and he became bereft of all his possessions, right? So even Jnani is like, there is another story of Parashar Muni which I will tell you later. So this Jnani is like Ravan and Parashar Muni also, they also fell down. Third are the yogis or sages, right? The first are karmis, second are jnanis, third are yogis or sages. Now, we have heard the example of Vishwamitra. Now, he was such a revered sage. He was the author of Gayatri Mantra, and he has done so much of austerity that the king of heaven, who is Indra, he was very much upset, and he had a thought that, Vishwamitra will take over my seat. So in order to disrupt that, he sent the most beautiful damsel of that heavenly planet, and her name was Menka. And she went there, and she was sent by Indra to that planet Earth in order to break the severe penance and austerities made by Vishwamitra. And so what happened is that despite having so much of austerity, sitting in the forest, doing so much of sacrifice, everything, that Vishwamitra could not control his senses. And when he saw Menka, he just wanted to have that intimate relation with her, and he fell down. So yogis and sages also can fall down due to lusty desires. So there are four type categories we have seen: the karmis, jnanis, third are yogis or sages, and fourth are the devotees, bhaktas. Bhaktas of who? Devotees of Lord Krishna. Now here we take the example of Srila Haridas Thakur. Now Srila Haridas Thakur used to chant 190 rounds, that is like 22 hours a day. And he used to do the remaining rest of the work in only 2 hours. That is sleeping also, eating also, and everything, whatever. I don't know, it is beyond our calculation how it is possible. But if it is written in the scripture, Chaitanya Charitamrita, it has to be. Now, so what happened? There was a landlord in West Bengal. His name was Ramchandra Khan. And he was very jealous of Haridas Thakur because he got so much of name and fame there in the entire West Bengal that he wanted to dishonor him. In order to reduce and dishonor Haridas Thakur, he chose the most beautiful prostitute of that area, and he asked her to go and meet Haridas Thakur. So what happened? That prostitute went and meet Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was living in a small hut, and he was doing the chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So he was doing that chanting, and after that chanting, she waited there to have an association with Haridas Thakur, and Haridas Thakur asked her to wait to finish his 300,000 rounds. So after that, he promised that he will meet her. So likewise, 3 nights were passed, and when she started hearing Haridas Thakur's that chanting from the beautiful mouth, from the beautiful chanting from the devotee's mouth, she got her heart transformed, and she also started chanting the holy name of Krishna, and then she said to Haridas Thakur that I also want to do the chanting, and what should I do? So the Haridas Thakur, what he did, he was so merciful that he said, okay, no problem. You just give all your ill-earned money in a donation to the needy person. You leave that and you do start chanting. Now, she also started chanting along with Haridas, and eventually she became Haridas. Now, point here is, devotee of Krishna is so powerful that even he can turn a prostitute into a bhakta, right? And whereas we have seen so many examples that like Ravana, like Vishwamitra, like Yati, and so many examples what we have seen that they could not control their senses and they eventually fall down. So here we will, I think, what time is it? Yeah, I think we will just conclude here that what teachings are there from Srimad Bhagavatam. That teachings are there that Supreme Personality Godhead is in our heart, in everyone's heart, and he cleanses our desire for material enjoyment. So even if when we properly hear and chant his messages or his mantras, teachings from Chaitanya Charitamrita is like his Avdarya avatar, is like magnanimous incarnation of Lord Krishna. And he says in Antya Leela that simply by hearing the holy name of the Lord even once, if you hear the name of Lord even once, the living entity is relieved of all sinful reactions. After that, he worshipped Lord Krishna with bhakti. And Srila Prabhupada, what he teaches? He teaches from Nectar of Instruction, verse 4. He says, simply by chanting with a pure devotee, one becomes wonderfully advanced in Krishna consciousness. So we have seen the example of Haridas Thakur and that prostitute. That prostitute chanted with Haridas Thakur and he was a pure devotee, so she also became so pure. Now, what we should do, that we should pray to Krishna, that please grant us the pure devotion of Haridas Thakur to us. Maybe not that extent, but even if we get 0.1%, it will be extremely beneficial for us. And we should pray to Lord that help us chant your holy names with sincerity and faith. It's not easy to chant the holy name with that sincerity. It's a struggle for all the devotees, at least for me. I struggle every day to chant, and I try my best to chant with that full sincerity and faith, but it's a struggle I have to fight every day. Then we should pray to Lord Krishna, may our hearts be filled with love and compassion. Like what Haridas Thakur had, that kind of compassion we should have. He was so compassionate even to a prostitute. And may we always seek the association of pure devotees. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhesha kapa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. So this is the thing that is for my personal thing that I wanted to learn from this text, and so please have your anything for me, or you want to comment or ask anything, we can do.
Thank you
Hare
so much, Prabhuji, for this very wonderful katha. You very nicely covered so many pastimes from Chaitanya Charitamrita and the importance of holy name and the best example of Haridas Thakur and what we have to pray and how we see that every day is a struggle and we have to go through it, and we will be progressing step by step. Thank you for this very inspiring and encouraging class, Prabhuji.
Thank you. If no one has
Dear
any
devotees,
question or something?
Yeah, dear devotees, if you have any questions or comments, you can ask now. This one comment, Prabhuji, in the chat, I will read for you. Sunil Prabhuji is telling, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, that was Pranam. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for wonderful class. So many pastimes.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you
Yes,
everyone
Prabhuji.
for this class. I hope it will elevate us in Bhakti Mark, progress further. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my
Hare-
humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna,
All
Mataji.
glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Shamaguri Devidasi from Charlotte. Prabhuji, thank you so much for the wonderful class, Prabhuji. You connected so many points from Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Everything is so nice, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. We need to learn a lot of things from this class. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you once again. Is that all?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Will pay obeisances to all Vaishnavas and Prabhuji. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyascha patitana pavanebhyo Vaishnavas ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
जय
Bhakta Mukesh Prabhuji ki jai.
राधे राधे
Jai.
Hare Krishna.